Okay, so on August 22nd, 2025, SpaceX launched a rocket. Now, if you follow space at all, hearing that is, well, it's like someone telling you the sun came up this morning. It happens so often it's easy to just go, yep, another one, and move on. But what if the story of this one seemingly boring launch is actually hiding the most extraordinary thing happening in space right now? Let's get into it. It really all comes down to this single number, 102. This number, it represents a scale, a speed, that was honestly pure science fiction just a decade ago. So what is it?
Get this, that's not a lifetime total. That's how many Falcon 9 flights SpaceX has pulled off just this year. And to really understand what that relentless pace feels like, we're going to zoom in on just one of them, launch number 102.
All right, let's dive in. To get the big picture, you've got to start small. So we're going to start with the nuts and bolts of this one single mission.
So here's the play-by-play. On a Thursday afternoon out in California, a Falcon 9 rocket just roars to life, carrying another 24 Starlink internet satellites. You know, it's a flight that has become the steady drumbeat of modern spaceflight, something they've perfected just through sheer repetition. And the flight itself? It just runs like clockwork. After it pushes the payload up towards orbit, the first stage booster separates, does this crazy flip maneuver, and absolutely nails a landing on a drone ship out in the Pacific. Just over an hour after liftoff, the satellites are sent on their way. Mission accomplished. But here's the kicker. The launch itself isn't the real story. The rocket is.
And this, right here, is where routine becomes absolutely revolutionary. We're talking about the booster, the powerhouse of the rocket, which has its own name, B-1081. 17. That's how many times this one single rocket booster has made that violent, fiery trip to space and back again. I'm not talking about 17 different rockets. No, we're talking 17 flights for this one booster. Just let that sink in for a second.
This is reusability in action. I mean, think about it. For decades, rockets were just thrown away after one use. It's like flying a brand new 747 across the ocean and then just ditching it at the bottom. By mastering reusability, SpaceX didn't just make things a little cheaper, they completely rewrote the economic rulebook for going to space.
And just look at the resume this one booster, B-1081, has built up. This is not a one-trick pony. It has launched astronauts to the International Space Station. It's sent critical cargo. It's deployed NASA science satellites. And it's even carried secret payloads for the National Reconnaissance Office. I mean, this thing is a true workhorse.
So, that brings us to the why. Why are they launching so often? Well, that rocket reusability has unlocked the ability to go after projects at a scale that was just impossible before. And this mission's payload is the perfect example.
With this launch, those 24 satellites joined a network of over 8,100 active Starlink satellites that are already circling the globe. This is the largest satellite constellation ever assembled, and it's all designed to beam internet down to pretty much every corner of the planet.
And if you want to see what's driving all this, well, the numbers don't lie. Over 70% of all Falcon 9 launches this year have been for one reason and one reason only: building out Starlink. This crazy launch cadence isn't just for show, it is the engine that is driving one of the biggest projects on or off the planet.
Okay, so let's zoom out one last time and put that first number we talked about, 102, into the full context of the whole company. This is about an entire philosophy of how they operate.
And really, the numbers tell the whole story. On one hand, you have 102 Falcon 9 flights, the undisputed backbone of the company, and on the other, just 3 test flights of Starship, their massive next-gen rocket that's designed for Mars. You're literally looking at the workhorse of today, flying and funding the giant of tomorrow.
And that's the real story of launch number 102. It's just a single dot on an absolutely astonishing trend line. The reason a 17th flight booster launching the 102nd mission of the year feels normal is because of this unprecedented, relentless campaign of build, fly, land, and repeat.
So, this all leaves us with a pretty fascinating question. We just saw how something that was once extraordinary became totally ordinary. So, when getting to orbit is no longer the main challenge, when it's just a routine step in the process, what comes next? What does that future really look like?